Hello everyone, and I'm Scottish Warrior 92, your lore master, and welcome to the Lore Den. In today's installment of the Lore Den, we're going to be looking more into the Dragon Age universe, but more so into a particular character. We're going to be looking at the Witch of the Wilds, Asha Belinar, the one, the only, Flemeth. Now, Flemeth, in my opinion, is probably my favourite character in the Dragon Age universe, mostly due to the fact that we don't know that much about her. Even the Codex entry and the wiki on the Dragon Age wiki does have conflicting ones. Even Morrigan herself doesn't know the truth about Flemeth. But I'm going to basically explain what we know about her so far, and also some interesting fan theories that are out there about her. I don't think this will be a long one, but I don't want to miss out on my chance. So let's dive right into it. Now, firstly, we got some interesting stuff that's not real lore specific, but I find it is. For those who don't know, Flemeth is actually voiced by Kate Mullineaux, I believe it's pronounced, who played Captain Janeway in Star Trek Voyager. Just a little bit of extra information on you because I'm a geek like that. But yeah, I thought I'd dive into it. So let's go right into this. So what is Flemeth? Well, according to the Wikipedia entry and also the Dragon Age game itself with Morrigan, Flemeth is centuries old. It's believed that she is some form of abomination, but even that is not actually right. We do not know what Flemeth is. All we know that is she's an extremely powerful being. Most notably, her shape-shifting ability. She can shape-shift into a dragon as her most powerful form, as shown in Dragon Age Origins and in Dragon Age 2. But that's the thing, that's probably not only a small fraction of her power. Because we don't know exactly what she is. All we know is that she is human, or at least was human at one point, and it was a mage at a point, and then became possessed by something. Now it's not a demon. We know that apparently. It's not a demon, and we know she isn't your typical abomination. But that's very interesting. So let's go a little bit into her backstory first to explain the circumstances in which she became possessed in a way. And now, I don't think there's an exact date, but Flemeth is centuries old. Her story is this, basically. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman, and according to this, there are actually from the Dragon Age Wikipedia entry, and also Dragon Age Codex, and also the way that Morrigan tells the story, if you get to know her a bit better in Dragon Age Origins. There are a few versions of this story about Flemeth. I want to say it right now. All we know, the most common thing is that she was a beautiful woman and also a mage. And also the common names of Ban Conabar and the bard Orsine. Now let's go into this. Flemeth was a beautiful woman, and according to now it is conflicting whether or not she was taken as his wife or she was bought. I'm going to go with bought though. She was basically forcibly married to Ban Conabarn, who I will go into eventually. Who will go into more when I get to the insignificant parts of the ages. And she was from High Ever. That's about all we know about that. But her heart was actually stolen by a young poet called Orsine, and they ran away together. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Ban Conabar wasn't happy about this, as you can kind of guess. I guess if that woman run away, we gotta catch them and kill her. But yeah, he wasn't happy, and he did hunt them for quite a long time. And he also played a trick on them. Now, here are the two versions of the story. The first version is that the one that we hear from Morrigan is that the life of a poet is not cheap, and Orsine actually went back with Flemeth because Ban Conabar offered a small fortune for the return of Flemeth. And now I do remember vaguely that they mentioned that. I can't remember. There's also another conflict whether she was married to Ban the Conabar first or Orsine first. I believe Morrigan states that she was married to him first, but apparently according to the wiki and other versions, she was married to the Ban first. But, as you can kind of guess, this was a trap. Now, as it says, Orsine sold his wife, basically, but it was a trap, and Orsine was killed, and Flemeth was put into the highest tower in the castle. The other version of this story is that apparently Canaban actually pretended to be dying, and said he'd forgiven Orsine and Flemeth, and only wanted to see his beautiful wife one last time, but the same thing happened. It was a trap, and subsequently, Orsine was killed, and Flameth was taken into the highest tower, into the highest castle. It sounds almost Disney-like, doesn't it? A little too Disney-like, if you ask me. This is a very common thing in most stories, as the beautiful woman is put into the highest tower in the tallest building, in the highest tower and the tallest, whatever the fuck the thing is, I don't know. What Shrek? But yeah, that's very interesting. It's very fairy tale-like. I like that about it. It's very fairy tale, and also it has various versions that will happen after this. Eventually, spirits. Well, apparently, Flameth worked on her magic, and she summoned spirits into her world to seek vengeance upon her husband, and she received it, but not as she planned. The spirits took possession of her, and she became an abomination. At least that's what the story states. But here's the thing. She's not your typical abomination. What kind of spirit did she summon? It's never explicitly said. And now, here's a little thing also as well. It's very conflicting with what Flameth done, but it is believed for hundreds of years she stole men, fathered daughters, birthed daughters, and became Witch of the Wilds. Flameth has various stories, from the Chased stories and Ferelden to the Elven stories. The elves even know of her, which is very interesting. She, as one of her name is, Asha'bellanar. And I find that very fascinating that even the elves know of her and respect her in a way. And really, from this point, the history of Flameth is quite iffy to tell. It's not 100% accurate. Different stories tell different things. As I say, it's believed that she plotted for hundreds of years to basically kill the Alamari tribes, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and it's believed that she led the Chasants to fight against them, but even that's not 100% accurate according to Morgan. According to Morgan, apparently Flameth, all she did was like, I'm just going to sit here and drink my tea and do absolutely fuck all. But even then, it's very interesting. Now, at this point, I'm mostly going to be going into basically fan theories at this point, because not a lot is known about Flameth. The only thing we know for certain about Flameth is she is planning something. That's all we know. Because she kind of predicts the future in a way, going even far back as the Stolen Throne, in which she basically talks to Merrick and says that he will not see the fifth light, and that he will not see various things. It's also kind of hinted that Morgan may be her daughter, Flameth and Merrick's daughter, but that's kind of icky, especially if you're going into the... I'm not going to go into that. But I find that interesting that Flameth has been plotting the events of Dragon Age Origin as far back as before the Dragon Age. So it's very interesting in my opinion if you take that into consideration, because what is she up to? That's something that says Flameth is planning something. She foresees something coming that is so catastrophic and destructive that could destroy the entire world, that she's sort of leading the way to help make it not happen. In Dragon Age, she helps the Wardens. In all sense of the words, Flameth hasn't done anything wrong in the Dragon Age universe, at least that we know of. Using the main character as an example, the Warden owes her life, and without Flameth, the Warden would not have survived, Alistair would not have survived, and in any sense of the word, the Blight would have continued and probably the world being destroyed. Dragon Age 2, without Flameth, Hawke would not have made it to Kirkwall and subsequently become the champion of Kirkwall. That's very interesting. Flameth has always had a major part in the Dragon Age games, and even the first Dragon Age novel, that she's had a major part in planning the events of basically the games and also the events of the world, in my opinion. So, what is she planning? We don't know. Now, most of what I'm going to say now is fan theories. There are a lot of interesting fan theories out there that I find really cool, predicting that maybe Flameth isn't just an abomination, she's actually an old god that is possessing a human, basically. I don't think that's the case, because most old gods are dragons. I know it's kind of racist to say old gods are dragons, but that's all we know of them are. We have no other visual representation of what the old gods look like, because a lot of that knowledge is lost, or we haven't come across it yet. We only know the old gods are looking like dragons, and technically speaking, Flameth isn't a dragon, but she can shapeshift into a dragon, so I don't think she's a dragon. I'm saying that right now, I don't think she's 100% a dragon. I don't think she's an old god. But one interesting fan theory is due to the relationship that Flameth has with the Dalish elves, most notably the Dalish elf tribe that the Warden comes from if you chose the Dalish elf origin. I find that interesting because Merrill pronounces her as Ashbelinar and knows the ritual to bring her back from that little trinket that she gave to Hawk. I find that very interesting, is that the Dalish elves respect her. They treat her almost as if she is a god. And that's one of the fan theories, is that maybe Flemeth is an Elvani god. That's one of the fan theories out there, and in my opinion, that actually has a lot of weight to it, because we don't know that much about the elven gods. A lot of the elven lore, languages, beliefs are lost to us, unfortunately. And the only image of a Elvani god, and give me a moment, I'll find one. I should have probably... Elvani god. I probably should have got this picture, but we don't know what the elven gods actually look like. We don't. Just a moment. Give me a moment. Elvan god. We actually don't know what they actually look like. Found it. There we are. View image. Give me a moment. I'll get it up here. But we actually don't know what the elven gods actually look like. We have the only image of an Elvani god that we have, as I'll add it in here. God. We don't know what they look like, and that's very interesting to me. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? God damn it, where is it? I saved it. Give me a moment. Apparently the thing's not showing up. Where the hell is it? Come on, where are you? Oh wait, no. Give me a... I do apologise for this, I fucked up. But I do find it interesting that the only image that we have of an Elvani god, there it is the one I'm about to show you, which if I can get it up, that is. There we are. Got it. There it is. Do apologise for the slight delay, I probably should have got this up now. Is this one, give me a moment. Edit. Is this god. Now, if you recognise this statue, good on you. This is actually the statue from the Dalish elf origin story. We actually view this statue, and Tamlin states that this is possibly an Elvani god. But as I said, we don't know that for sure due to the fact that a lot of the lore is missing from that. So that is what apparently the elven gods may have looked like. Now, this could be incorrect. It could just be a red herring. But it's very interesting to me that this is the only representation we have of possible an Elvani god as he looks like. And for me personally, it looks very humanoid. There are a couple of wee distinctive feels like it apparently has wings, apparently. Ooh, cool. But that's very interesting to me because... And also another thing with the elves in common is that the elves did have shape-shifting capabilities with their mages before the magic was lost to them. And what is Flemeth but a shapeshifter? So Flemeth has a lot in common with the Elvani lore, especially with the fact that she can shapeshift, which I suppose is something that was only available for the elves. And this could be Flemeth. We don't know. This could be an Elvani god because what was before the old gods? All we know we know that the old gods did exist, but did the Elvani gods exist? That's very interesting to me. And it is and also a couple of people pointed out in the Dragon Age trailer that the creatures seen there could be the old gods before the old god. These could be elven gods. And I find that interesting. And the fan theory is that Flemeth, when she sought out the spirits, actually pulled an elven god to her, and actually the elven god possessed her. I think that's very interesting, and it leaves a lot of possibilities to lead there. Now, this is just a fan theory. There's been no confirmation of what Flemeth actually is, and I like that. She is surrounded in mystery, but we know that she is actually up to something. She is planning something. Now, the question is she planning something good or bad? We don't know. She's so fucking cocky and sarcastic that she's just alluding to things. So I like that. I like that about Flemeth. Though, as I stated, there isn't a lot of information on Flemeth, but that's what makes her more fascinating, in my opinion. And I do like that about her. She is extremely fascinating and one of the few characters we know very little about, at least factually. Every other character we know some facts about them. Flemeth, we know that she's an abomination. We know that she's a shapeshifter. And we know that she is centuries old. That's the only things we know for sure. Even with her grimoire, we don't know her entire story. And Sorry, just I've tongue-tied there. But I find that interesting. I do, really, really do. And I'd love to hear other theories about Flemeth, but I said that's all we really have on her, at least what I could find. As I said, I looked through the Dragon Age wiki, I looked through the Codex, I even looked through the World of Thedas book. There's not that much information on her beyond stories. And that's what I think. I find that very interesting, that her story is very fairy tale like in some way. Highest Tower, I can't be the only one who knows that connection. And I like that. So hopefully in Dragon Age 3 we'll get to explore Flemeth a little bit more. But I think it's safe to say that Flemeth, for all intents and purposes, is on our side. But at the same time, she's only on our side because it benefits her. She only wants to benefit her, from what I've been able to gather from her personality. And I find that interesting. So let me know what you think of Flemeth. Is she your favourite character? And what is your theory about Flemeth? Do you think she is an Elvani god, or do you think she's an old god, or do you think she's an extremely powerful abomination? I don't believe she's actually possessed by any demon that we have seen yet. I do not believe she's possessed by a pride, rage, desire. I don't believe she's possessed by any of those demons. I believe she's possessed by a demon or a god or an entity that we have never seen before. And I hope that I'm right in that fact. But if I'm wrong, so be it. I'm not going to argue that fact. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little installment of Loaded. If there's anything more Loaded you want me to look at, like Dragon Age related, please put it in the comment section down below. I need a new topic for my next Loaded. So thank you for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and I will see you all later. And I will inform you of more lore when needed. See you all later, and ciao for now.